everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's video is just gonna be a kind of quick get ready with me type of deal. I did have a more exciting video planned out, but I have a lot of shit to do today, so we're just gonna do kind of a fresh summer face. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing that I normally do is brows. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little bit closer so you can kind of see how I do that. I'm using the NYX micro brow pencil in the shade Taupe. Okay, so I'm going to start with just fluffing those hairs upward. Just going to start filling it in. I have like a gap right here in my eyebrow, so I normally just start with that because I feel like that's the most important thing to get filled in. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to fill this guy in. I'm just following my natural brow shape. I want this to be pretty painless. At about like third of the way in, I stop doing this motion and I start doing this motion upwards, so it looks like little hairs, or as close to that as I can get. Okay, now that I have like kind of a basic shape going on here, I'm going to go in and clean it up. I'm going to be using the NYX Wonder Pencil to clean that up. This is pretty much almost gone, but it's basically just like a concealer almost in pencil form. And kind of outline the eyebrow. I mostly try to get the edge here, underneath, under here, and then sometimes I'll get up here too if I've kind of overdone it. But today it seems okay, so I'm not going to do that. Next, I'm just going to take a little concealer brush. This is pretty disgusting. I need to wash it, but oh well. And I'm just going to do downward strokes of that on this side. You can see it's kind of rubbing off here, so then I'm going to go on this side and do an outward stroke. Yeah, there's your everyday natural eyebrow. So I put on the other eyebrow and then I did go back and touch this one up just a little bit to try and make them even, which was a terrible idea because it didn't work very well, but we're here. We have two eyebrows. So let's move on to the face. Start off with the NYX Hydra Touch primer and base. This is just a nice, really lightweight hydrating primer. I've heard it's similar to the Smashbox hydrating one, so if you've been looking at that one, this might be worth checking out. A little bow here, keep the hair out of my face. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Poreless Primer. I never really hear anyone talking about this, but I like it a lot. It definitely minimizes my pores, and it tones down the texture in my skin, so I enjoy it. I'm just going to focus this on my T-zone where I have the largest pores and then kind of buff it out. It does kind of have that texture where I feel like with certain foundations it might bulk up a little bit, but so far, so good. Okay. Next I have the No. 7 Lift and Luminate foundation. It is in the shade Cool Vanilla. I wouldn't say it's super cool, it's more like a neutral cool almost, but I have been absolutely loving this foundation. It is amazing. So I just put a couple pumps on the back of my hand. I'm going to take my finger and dot that all over my face. So I have been super busy wedding planning and working and all that fun stuff. I realized like I haven't even gone camping this summer, and which sucks because I really wanted to, but you know, priorities. So I'm just buffing this into the skin with my Real Techniques sponge. I just really like the finish this gives, and it lasts all day, which is really surprising for a dewy foundation. Even on my nose, it lasts pretty well. I did notice it start to rub off a little bit on the sides, but it didn't cake up. It just kind of rubbed off, which is really unusual for foundations on me. Normally when they start to rub off, they get super cakey. This one didn't look too cakey, and that might have to do with just because it's kind of a lighter coverage foundation. I'd say it's like light to medium and definitely buildable. But I don't know, it just looks really nice all day. So I usually will go in with 2 coats on the cheeks and then like 1 coat on the forehead and chin. Because that is where I get the most redness. I'm just kind of scooping up what's left over on my hand onto my sponge and tapping that in. Okay, so next I want to do just a little bit of color correcting with the NYX Dark Circle Corrector. I'm just going to take the tiniest bit of this on my finger and kind of pat that under the eyes, trying not to get too close up in here where concealer tends to crease, kind of focusing that on the outer edge. And again on this side. If you use too much of this, it definitely will cause your concealer to crease. But I find a really light amount does make a difference. And just going in again on this side. It's a little bit darker circles. Just gonna tap over that with the Beauty Blender. Or sponge, whatever. Just to kind of soften it a little bit. Okay. Next I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild Photofocus Concealer. I love this concealer so much. It's so easy to blend out, so lightweight. Matches my skin tone well in the summer. So I'm just kind of going to do little circles here. Kind of bring it down in that triangle shape. But again, trying not to get super close up in there, because I do tend to crease quite a bit. Although this concealer is pretty good at not creasing, but every concealer creases on me, so just going to put that on my dark ass circles. And I also like to put it in these little crevices on my nose, and then on any blemishes that I may have. Skin's looking pretty okay right now, but I do have a couple there. And then I'm just going to go in with a little bit more. You can use a shit ton of this concealer and it still won't look cakey, which I love. However, the flip side is in order to get the coverage you want, you kind of have to use a shit ton. But it's like $3 though. Bringing it up over the lid, in the inner corner, getting right up in that lash line, and blending it out on the cheeks, getting that little nose crevice. I love the way this blends on the nose. It sinks right in, doesn't look cakey, and doesn't lift up the foundation underneath. Which it can be difficult to find a concealer that does not do that. I heard some negative reviews about it, and I'm like, why? It's pretty great. I guess the coverage isn't super intense, but like I used a color corrector under it and it looks pretty damn good. I'm going to use a little bit more just in those really dark places. I find this gives better coverage than the Shape Tape. Personally, I find that one to be really brightening, but not a whole lot of coverage. That might just be the shade that I have. But I don't know. Every person has their own preference and different skin types, different skin colors. So we're not all gonna like the same things. Okay. Again, just getting that up in there. Blending it out. Okay. And once you are satisfied with your concealer, we can move on. Before we go in with powder, I do have a couple cream products. I have really been liking the Bite Beauty multi-sticks. I picked this up a few weeks ago and I really enjoy it. It makes the makeup application go by really quickly and really smoothly. Don't love it as much on the lips, but on the eyes and on the cheeks it's really, really nice. Speaking of which, I totally forgot to put on lip balm. Okay, so I am going to take this first on the cheeks. And I'm literally just gonna like draw on my face. I find with some like cream liquid blushes, you really have to like put it on the back of your hand and then do it, but this one actually works pretty well if you just like draw it on your face. So I'm just gonna pat this in and blend it upwards. Pretty satisfied with that. So next we're also going to go in with a liquid highlight. This is the Becca liquid illuminator in the shade Opal. I really like this. For some reason the powder version is a little bit too dark for me, but the liquid version is not. I think the liquid version is a little bit more pink as well. It's still very champagne-y, but it's a lot more pink, whereas the powder is more gold. So I just put some on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to take my beauty blender or sponge, tap into it, and then just tap that on my cheekbones. I may need a little, yeah, I definitely need more. So I just put some more on there, and now I'm just going to pick that up on my sponge. Okay, there we go. That's a little too far. Oh well. Okay. This gives a really natural, pretty sheen to the face. I'm gonna go in with a third coat because why not? Okay, so now that I am pretty glowed up here, we are going to go in and powder the face. I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Lock-It Translucent Setting Powder. Just going to tap some into the lid here. I'm just going to take this on that same sponge. I'm going to take this under the eyes, trying to avoid the highlight so it doesn't undo that. Then I'm also going to take this on my nose and those little crevices that we put concealer. Don't put powder there. I think I just like inhaled a bunch of powder. So don't go straight in on the end of your nose. Just don't do it, guys. You will inhale powder. Which is not good for you. Okay, so I'm also going to bring this guy up onto the forehead get that all settled. I'm not going to bring it on the cheeks or lower because I want that blush to stand out, and also we're going to go in under here to bake after we do our bronzer. I do want to do some kind of setting of the rest of my face. So I'm just going to take this Luxie brush and the Wet n Wild Reserve Your Cabana bronzer. It's not a bronzer. It's pretty much like a really subtle highlight, but I'm going to take this brush and I'm first going to hit those high points where we put the highlighter. And that's going to set it and just intensify it a little bit. But not crazy because this is very, very subtle. And then I'm also going to take this over the blush, just very, very lightly. And I'm just kind of using this as a blush topper. This Luxie brush is a little bit small for doing that, but I didn't want to clean my bigger brushes, so here we are. And I am also going to take this on the bridge of my nose. So the glow is sufficient all over my face. Powder is like flying everywhere. Having some issues here. I'm going to be taking the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in light. Just going in with this fluffy Coastal Scents brush, dipping it in there kind of heavily. And then I'm going to just apply that to the face. We're just going to bronze and warm up the skin. I've been really liking applying bronzer like this with just like a gigantic fluffy brush, because I feel like it just gives a really nice warmth to the skin without being too structured. And this brush is small enough to where it's not like gonna go all over your face, but you're still gonna get that overall bronzy effect. I'm also just gonna take this down the neck to make sure everything matches. So next I'm gonna go back in with that Kat Von D powder and the sponge, and I'm just going to bake a little bit. Just going to take this, do a big stripe, and then kind of pat on some more powder, because why not? It's going to do the same thing on the side. I don't really like baking under the eyes because I feel like it just gets super dry. I have really dry under eyes. But I find this technique of baking really helpful for cleaning up bronzer or contour and just brightening up this area. I will also sometimes do the sides of my nose, but I'm feeling lazy, so I'm not going to do that today. Alright, so we're just going to leave that little chin strap on our face for a little bit. And we're going to move on to the eyeballs. We're going to do a super, super simple look today. Nothing too crazy. Really easy, perfect for just getting ready quickly. So, to start off the eyes, I am going to be going in with the Balm Voyage palette. I'm going to start with this fluffy blending brush with this guy right here. I'm just taking that cream shade and putting it all over my lid. Okay guys, so my camera overheated and I had to shut it off. So all I did was wipe away my bake, and I actually went ahead and exfoliated my lips, but that is all I've done. Thank you, big garbage truck. Going back into that same palette, we're going to take this really pretty terracotta type shade. It's very similar to the Bite Beauty multi-stick, which we're going to be using all over the lid. So I'm just going to pop this in the crease as a transition shade. You can definitely just go in with the multi-stick. I've done that before. This I just feel like adds a little bit extra. And like literally I'm just doing like one kind of light layer, blending it out, calling it good. Really like these eyeshadows. I think they blend super nicely. So next I'm going to go in with that Bite Beauty multi-stick. This is in the shade Creme Caramel, by the way. And okay, I freaking love this. I don't know if you can tell, but it's magnetic. Yeah, no one cares. So I'm gonna go in with this and I'm literally just going to draw on my eyelids. suppose you might want to be a little bit closer. Okay, so I zoom you guys in, which I totally forgot to do at first, but now you can see. So again, I am literally just kind of drawing this on. And then on the lower lash line, I'm just going to take like the edge of this and try to get it as close as possible. But nothing too crazy. Okay, then I'm just going to take my finger and blend this out. If I was just using this, I would get some more product on my finger and kind of blend it into the crease more, which I think I may do a little bit. Since we have that other crease shade, I think it makes it a lot easier to create just a full eyeshadow look super quickly. I'm going to take this Little London brush, which I really like using for the lower lash line, whether it is cream or powder. I'm just going to take that and blend that lower lash line. You can totally just use your finger for this too. I've definitely done that. I'm just going to take a little bit more on my finger, and I'm just, you can't see, but I'm just taking it off with my finger. That is our easy peasy monochromatic look. I went ahead and applied the other eye off camera. Now we're just going to kind of put on the finishing touches. So at this point you could go in with liner, falsies, whatever you want to do. I'm going to keep it simple. Sonia Kasuk Lashify Mascara. I'm going to give the lashes a little bit of a curl beforehand, as always. This mascara, the top just totally broke off. So now it's kind of this weird claw thing. A little bit difficult to hold, but I like the formula of this, so I'm gonna keep using it. And if you want to see a first impressions video that I did on this, just go check out my channel. I did a first impressions and wear test, which I can link below. I really enjoy this mascara. It's pretty easy to use too, because it's such a dry formula that you're not going to get it like all over your face. Applying this to the lower lashes as well. So just the same thing on the other eye. I am going to curl up these lashes, pop on some of this mascara. It is like near impossible to talk while putting on mascara. I don't know how people do it. So next I'm just going to take that Wonder pencil again and just put it on the waterline to brighten everything up. Don't want to put a stark white on there because we're going for a monochromatic look. Next, for inner corner highlight, we're going to be going in with the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Lunch Money. It is very well loved, as you can see. I'm just going to pop this on the inner corner, and I'm also going to take it on the nose. Doing a very, very light amount on the inner corner. I normally go pretty ham, but today we're going to keep it subtle. Well, subtle-ish. I want to add a little bit of a pink shift to that inner corner just to kind of tie it all together. If you have on the Alchemist palette, you can totally skip this step if you want, but I'm just going to take this shade Pink Opal and take this little Wet n Wild brush for it, which is fantastic, by the way. I'm just going to dip into that Pink Opal shade and kind of pop it on top of the Lunch Money. And that is really going to tie in the monochromatic type of look since we're dealing with these sort of pinky brown colors. You could also do a contrasting color here, like a blue or something like that. Complementary color. Taupe. I like bringing the inner corner kind of down a little bit. I think it adds a really cool dimension. So I really like how that looks. We're going to zoom out and finish up. So the next thing I'm going to do is apply some e.l.f. brow gel. I love this thing. It is fantastic. holds my brows in place all freaking day. I'm just going to brush all the hairs upward because we want a really feathery brow effect today. And I'm just going to tone down the sides a little bit with the same spoolie. Got that like all over my face. I will say if you get this on your face, you want to either tap it in or take it off, or else it'll kind of peel away your foundation throughout the day, which is not fun. It is like shellac. Okay, so now I'm going to brush all the hairs up, and again I'm just going to kind of tone down the edge. Now that the brows are in place, we are going back into that Bite Beauty multi-stick and we're going to put it on the lips. I'm just going to kind of pat my lip gloss off, or not lip gloss, lip balm off, so we can deal with a smooth surface. I'm just going to put that on the lips. I am going to go in with the Buxom lip gloss in the shade White Russian. Just going to put that on top of the Bite Beauty. So the next thing I'm going to do is set my face. Since we're going for a dewy look, I'm going to go in with the Pixi Glow Mist. And then this is just really going to set all those powders down and also give us even more of a glow. We're going to go in with another setting spray, which is super extra, but this is the Urban Decay All Nighter. First one makes us glow. The second one sets everything, make sure it lasts all day. Oh god, I really don't like the smell of this one. I think it's different than their old formula, you know, the one in like the white bottle. I like everything else is the same. It still works great, but this one just smells like, I don't know, like bad cucumber water. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not feeling it, but the formula is still great. So this is the finished look. It's really fresh and summery, a little bit edgy because it's all monochromatic, but I think it's really, really pretty, perfect for summer, easy to do. I hope you enjoy this kind of get ready with me video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.